This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Gary.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Gary?
Yeah. Yes, it's Gary.
All right, perfect. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to reaching back out to us so we could go and continue on the second part of your journey through your childhood and all the way through your adulthood. The last time we spoke, which was yesterday, which is going to be part 1.
Yes.
We left off at where you had just entered county jail, went to trial, and ultimately you lost your case and ended up getting sentenced to the California Department of Corrections.
Yes, that is correct.
Before we continue with the interview, I just want to just ask you, like, do you remember, like, what how it felt? You get sentenced, you get found guilty, and then they throw you back into that holding tank with a bunch of other people that are going through their own things and whatnot. And do you remember, like, the reaction of everybody else, what you were thinking? What was the atmosphere in that tank when you came back? You're barely 18 years old. You got 25 to life. What was it like?
After being found guilty, they did. They put me back in the hole after that. And I was in the holding cell, and I was there by myself, and I felt lost, hopeless. It was like despair, like when that verdict was handed down. I didn't know what to think. My mind was drawing a blank. All I felt was this hopelessness. Wondering what's going to happen next. Where am I going? I never been through the jail system. It was my first time. I'd never been to prison. I didn't know what to expect. I was scared. I was scared. Here I am trying to put on a front. That I'm this big bad somebody, and all the reality, I was just a scared kid. So that's how I felt. I can just remember, like I was saying yesterday.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
My family just cried. It was just crying. The gravity of the situation was just. It didn't fully hit me. I knew what I did was wrong. I knew I committed a crime. And just. Like I said, I didn't believe that I was going to get a life sentence. I knew I was going to go to jail. That was a fact, for what I did, but just going away for life, when the verdict was handed down, life, 20 years to life. I was like, oh, wow, life, I'm never coming home. I'm never getting out. I'm going to die in prison. And as an 18-year-old kid, it was just like, I was scared, I was scared.
And let me ask you, so prior to you, getting sentenced, you're seeing other juveniles or other kids, your same age, and they're going to court. What kind of sentences were they getting at this time?
Life sentences, lengthy sentences. When I was in juvenile hall and I was in Central, everybody, it's just dumbfounded because 90% of those kids that I was with in Central Juvenile Hall, I've seen them in prison. I've been with them on prison yards, and it's just crazy. It's just like I just sit back and we used to just talk and like, man, we were kids then, and now look at us. We're all in prison with life sentences. Some guys got 30, 40 years. Either it was a lengthy sentence or life. Life with the possibility of parole. They throw that in there with the possibility of parole. But back then, coming through CDC, before it was CDCR, with the possibility didn't exist. Life was life. It was common knowledge that if you came to prison with life, you were never getting out. You were never getting out. So just the depression, the despair behind that, knowing that, man, I'm never getting out of prison. That takes a toll on you mentally and emotionally.
So you get sentenced the same day you're found guilty. Is that the same day you also get sentenced, or did you have to come back to court?
I went back to court about, I believe it was 2 weeks after that. I believe it was 2 to 3 weeks after that.
And once you were found guilty, did you already know what you were facing, or did your public pretender tell you or inform you what you were looking at, or what the DA was seeking?
A life sentence. A life sentence. There was no budging from that. There was no deals. No, she told me straight out, flat out, they're going to give you a life sentence if you're going to jail for the rest of your life. Period. That was it.
So you leave court. How long does it take? How long does it take for you to start your journey into the prison system?
I was admitted to the prison system June 16 of 1998. I was received from LA County by CDCR June 16, 1998.
And at this time, reception, was it Chino at this time, or what was it that they sent you for reception?
I went to Delano State Prison for reception. I was there for 5 months, waiting to go wherever they were going to send me.
And where's the first place that you got sent to?
I went to Tehachapi State Prison, the 180 yard.
And how did prison differ from county jail? Was it any different?
More violent. They sent me to a yard at that time, Tehachapi 180, where it was a violent yard. I can vividly remember the first stabbing that I saw. It was this guy's getting his throat slashed open, and here I am, 18 years old, witnessing this, and it was like, wow. Where did I come to? What did I get myself involved in? And I was scared. I'll be the first to admit it. I couldn't admit to it myself back then because I was trying to put up this front. I'm tough. I'm down. Nobody's gonna mess with me. But deep down inside, I was scared. I was fearful. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go home. And I wanted to go home to my mom, to my family. But the cold truth was I was stuck. That was my reality now. So conforming to that reality was very difficult. I didn't know which way to go. I tried to turn to the Bible, try to get God in my life, but those negative influences around me were like, nah, homie, come here, little homie. You don't know what you're doing. Don't go down that route. This is what you're gonna do. You're with us. We'll take care of you. And man, in having that around me my whole life, right, growing up in that atmosphere, was like, okay, I put my trust in the wrong people. I put my loyalty into the wrong people, into the wrong things. And it didn't help too, where my family was telling me, like, what are you doing? Like, no, you're from here. This is who you are. This is what you're going to do. And who am I to question at that young age, at 18? Who am I? I was still thinking like a child. I didn't know how to, I thought I was a grown-up. I didn't know what a grown-up meant and how to think like one or how to act like one. And so I just, I fell back to what I knew, what I knew, what's been working for me my whole life, my whole existence, what has worked for me, what has been there for me. I didn't have the courage to tell my family no, to step out on my own. I didn't know. There was no positive influences back then in prison telling you, oh, no, do this, go to school, get your GED, get your high school diploma, go to college, go to self-help groups. All that rehabilitation didn't exist back then. It was either you're going to get with the program what the program is going to get with you. It's just, you're going to do it, or you're going to get it done to you. And so I felt right in, man, and that just set my life in motion in prison. At 20 years old, I was already. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, at 20 years old, I did my first SHU term, which was a couple of months, and when I was 21, I went to the SHU for little over 4 years. Out of a 5-year period, I only came out for 10 months and went right back to the SHU. And so that just set my life on a destructive course. I'm going to say that. It became very destructive, very violent after that. I started to commit violence in prison.
So I have two questions. Do you remember when you're in reception, how many points you were given or assessed?
I started out at 59 points when I came to prison. 59 points. That was my first point system.
And
59.
And once when you were at the height of your prison career, what was the highest points you reached?
The highest points I reached was 118. 118. That was the highest. 118.
And a few moments ago, you mentioned that you ended up in the SHU. What caused that?
I moved in with a cellmate who had a weapon in the cell. I knew about it. He informed me that there's a weapon in here. We were celled up for about a couple of weeks, and they came and they searched our cell and they located the weapon. And I first went back to the SHU for possession of a weapon, a knife.
And at this time in California prison history, how important was having a weapon near or on you?
It was very important. It was very important at that time. And
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Who I was involved with and the magnitude of violence that was happening with those individuals and those prison yards back then. Yeah, it was like either you're going to be caught with one or without one. And those who were caught without one was like, there was a lot of deadly consequences behind that.
So how long was it that you were in the SHU the SHU program the first time you went?
I first entered the SHU in February of 2001. Tehachapi. It just opened up. Tehachapi SHU.
And once you, how would you pass your time there, and how did it affect you mentally, being in there for long periods of time?
Well, it was, the SHU was a breeding ground. Before I even went to the SHU, the common knowledge was on the yard. If you want to learn, go to the SHU. Send the youngsters to the SHU. Send the kids to the SHU so they can learn, so they can know what's up, so they can learn, build them up. The SHU, I saw the SHU, as a breeding ground to build up criminals, to be better soldiers, better criminals. You're back there, you're slammed down in your cell for multiple hours out of the day. You get, back then it was you got 10 hours a yard a week, and the rest of the time you're in your cell, and you're surrounded by all these validated individuals, everybody else in the SHU for long periods of time. You're seeing the same people depending on what building and what pod you were in. And all these guys are just, you got to become mentally strong quick. You got to learn quick. If not, they were going to take advantage of you. That's just how it was. You had to become mentally and emotionally strong, or you got to put up.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Or you got to put up that front, like you're mentally and emotionally strong. If not, they were gonna eat you up. They're gonna take advantage of you. And that's what the SHU. That's what I saw the SHU. But to be honest, it's the SHU is high stress, high anxiety, depressing, very depressing. When I was in there, I developed high blood pressure, and they couldn't understand why. Why at such a young age you got high blood pressure? And wow, I'm in the shoe setting. I'm around all these individuals. There's no other way I could. How am I supposed to handle it? By working out. That's it. Staying busy, reading. The TV was probably the best babysitter we had. Getting lost in that in the TV.
And how, eventually, were you able to get your blood pressure under control?
Yeah, I was. I got it under control.
All right, so his call was automatically disconnected. He should be calling us back shortly. If you're new here, um, this is actually live. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them up in the chat, and I'll go ahead and ask them as we progress through his interview and through his journey through the California prison system. And I just want to go ahead and thank everybody that's here. I appreciate the support. And with your help, we're gonna go ahead and get this channel out there and have everybody out there just listen to it, and either they could relate with it or to it, or get something positive out of it. And just give me a moment. The phone is ringing.
This call is now
This
being
is
recorded.
Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Gary.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Hello.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Gary.
Hello. Yes, I'm back.
And man, Gary, I just want to tell you, you are very popular. I've never had 7 or 19 people in one of these lives, so I'm pretty sure it's you. You're bringing in your people, and your people are supporting. We do have 19 people in here. Like I said, we have
Yeah.
we have Mondo Ortiz. Shout out to Gary from Little Gerber, and press operator 5000. And who else do we have in here? We have Cynthia Martinez. She's saying hi from El Paso, Texas. We also got your cousin right here, Marilyn, and the real side of being incarcerated that no one talks about. And then we also have M Star, and she's agreeing with your cousin. So yeah, you do have a lot of people in here, and they are showing support. So that is that would be a first for me. I don't have that I don't have that many interviews under my belt, but you are getting a lot of support from from the street.
That's a blessing. And I'm extremely grateful for that. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It fills me with the joy of knowing that I'm not alone. I got people out there who who support me. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we also have Aquatic Amigo, and he's been definitely showing up to a lot of these lives, and letting it be known that he's in here and asking really good questions. And we also have Mad Max 408. He's making a comment about GTL making millions off of pretty much the families of people that are incarcerated, because ultimately they're the ones that flip the bill. And for these phone calls and video visits, and pretty much anything any type of communication.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Oh, absolutely. They have to pay for it on their end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My family members, they have to pay for it, sending pictures, texts. Yeah, and ultimately they do have to flip the bill.
Yeah. So, the last question I asked you right before we were cut off, I was asking you about your blood pressure. What were you, like 21 when you had high blood pressure in the shoe?
Yeah, I was 22. I was 22 years old.
And how was it? How was it that you were able to manage that?
They put me on medication. I was on high blood pressure medication, They put me on that. I started to cut out a lot of things in my diet. Especially the salt bars and the salt packet. I started to take vitamins, eat better. I started to. That's probably the first time I got into meditation. I just my breathing exercises to calm myself down and just to relax. Once I started to make those adjustments in my life, yeah, I got my blood pressure under control. But I strongly believe in that it was due to the environment where I was at. Just that whole stress, the anxiety, everything that I was feeling. And of course, I couldn't voice it at that time. Back then with that mindset, and I can't voice it to my Sally or to any of the guys that this is the way I'm feeling. They would have saw that as let's be honest, as weak. This fool's weak. This fool ain't with it. And I'm pretty sure that I probably would have been taken advantage of. Like I said before, a lot of us in prison, and we got to put up this front that nobody's gonna mess with me. I'm this person. But deep down inside, we're truly not. Yeah, we committed crimes. Yeah, we committed a horrible crime to put us in here, but that doesn't make us monsters. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We're people with feelings, with thoughts. And with families, with loved ones. Who we care about and who we miss and we adore. We cry when they're gone, and so at the end of the day, we're all human beings. I understand we're in prison. I understand we're doing time, but we're human beings. We're people.
Thank you for that, Gary. And earlier on, or a few moments ago, you mentioned that you could, you showed any type of weakness, you possibly would be taken advantage of. So, what way would you be taken advantage of? Like, are they going to be taking your canteen? Are they going to send you on dummy missions? Exactly. How would one?
Exactly that. Take advantage of you in every way. Use you, send you on missions, and go do this, do that, hold this, hold that. Pick on you. That's when I first went on my first, let's say, mission, Hale. I did it. It wasn't. I wasn't worried about why I was doing it to this guy or what if this guy did wrong. And it was just a simple a fight. That's all it was. I was more concerned about how this is going to make me look. If these guys see me fighting on the yard, then they're going to see, okay, this guy's, he's not to be messed with. He'll fight you. He'll get down with you. This guy ain't no punk. And that's what I did it. And ever since then, since that day forward, I did that, to gain my reputation, to gain that recognition with who I was running with. Like, okay, this is the homie. He's such and such. He's with it. He's down. Don't mess with him.
Thank you for that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and read off some supporting comments right here. Hopefully, I don't miss anybody. But this chat is going a little bit crazy here, so I'm trying to not lose any of the chat messages here. So I have let me see. So I have Gary, we love you. Primo, they put RP. And then Marilyn put with high blood pressure, because they all have to offer. Oh yeah, they offer processed food, so that probably had a lot to do with it, with the food you were consuming.
Yeah.
And then there's Mad Max, and he's also agreeing with having high blood. He said he has or he had blood pressure while he was in prison. And then there's Jackie Guerrero. She says, love and miss you forever and always. And let me see what else we have for you here. And okay. All right. Yeah. So that's all the family support messages that I see for now. And if I see any other questions, I'll go ahead and read them off to you. So.
Yeah, no problem.
You're welcome. So you end up getting released from the SHU. Where do you stay at the same prison, or you shipped off somewhere else?
They shipped me off to another prison, to Folsom Prison.
And that's like one of the oldest prisons in California, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm not. It wasn't Old Folsom. It was the New Folsom.
Oh, okay.
It's right next to it. It's called. Its correct name is Sacramento State Prison, but us, we call it Old Folsom and New Folsom. That's what we identify as, us prisoners.
And you're still, have you dropped any points yet, or you're still level 4 points?
No, at that time I was still over 100 points. But the good thing with that, when I did get out the SHU, I had the opportunity to get my GED. This was in 2006. I got my GED and I finally got out the SHU, and I was proud of that. I was very proud of that. And I wanted to continue my education. But I'm going to be honest. My drug addiction, because at that time I was.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
At that time, I was already, suffering from addiction, and my addiction took over, and that was it. My addiction took over. Every time that I was feeling these feelings of loneliness, rejection, being ostracized, it just. I was still carrying all those emotions with me through childhood, all that resentment, all that frustration, all that anger. I didn't know how to cope with that back then. I didn't know how to deal with it, because growing up, we're taught not to trust nobody with outside the family. You don't talk to nobody, especially a therapist. What are you, weak-minded? You're not weak-minded. You're strong-minded. Get over it. Those are the things that were in my thought process then. I didn't know how to deal with none of that. I didn't know who to talk to, who to turn to. So drugs were my coping skill. They were my crutch for many years.
And how does somebody get a hold of those type of substances while incarcerated?
You'd be surprised. A lot of people think that it's fairly hard, but it's fairly easy. I never had a problem finding drugs. If I wanted it, I knew where to get it. It's fairly easy.
And how are you buying them? Like, are you like, do you have any prison hustles going on?
Canteen, giving up my canteen packages, getting money, from family members, from friends, lying to them. Oh, I need money for a TV, or I broke the home TV. I need it for this. I need it for that. Just lying, just being manipulative, just to get money for my habit.
Thank you for answering that. And I do have a comment here from let me see, from M Star Media, and they are congratulating you on getting your GED.
Yeah.
And then
thank you.
And then I also have a comment from little Stevie. They put what up, Gary? Much love, G. Miss you, and when you come home, we're gonna eat real good on some on Gaspar's tab. Ha ha ha. Little Stevie.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are good friends of mine, family members, good friends. And I thank you. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
And then Mad Max just wrote, "It's easier to get dope in the CDCR than in the streets sometimes."
That's true. That's absolutely true. A lot of people think, oh, when you get out, the temptation's going to be everywhere. Oh, the temptation hasn't went nowhere, bro. It's all around me in the prison system. Trust me. It's going to be everywhere. Well, it's still everywhere. Thank God that I have the ability, the coping skill, to stay sober. I'm over 5 years of my sobriety, and I thank God every day for that. I didn't do it alone. It wasn't easy. I'll be the first to admit, it was not easy. I did it through my higher power, which is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I did it through NA groups, self-help groups. I did it with sponsorship, with other inmates who were in those groups. With their support, sharing in experiences with each other, sharing our stories, helping each other stay clean. My accountability partner, it all goes hand in hand, bro. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for where I'm at today.
How long did it take you to get that under control?
I started using drugs in prison when I was 19. I stopped using drugs March 22nd in 2018. I was 37. My birthday's in April, so I was about to turn 38. Yeah, what, a 20-year period? Took me 20 years to get that under control.
Yeah, that's a long run.
No, it is. Trust me. I heard. I didn't realize it then until I sobered up and I started to, do that searching and fearless moral inventory of myself and just seeing my life, from a sober point of view. I hurt a lot of people. I destroyed a lot of relationships, especially with family, with friends, girlfriend relationships. I hurt a lot of people. I took advantage. I manipulated. I lied. And I wasn't honest with them. And it's crazy because we always hurt the people who we say we love the most, and I was no different. I hurt them, I manipulated them, and I should have been better by them. I should have been better by myself, but just caught up in that addiction, it was very difficult for me to see that. Like I said the other day, and addiction has no compassion, it has no conscience, and I was deep in it. I didn't know.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I didn't know what help looked like. I didn't know where to start. And it was very difficult. It wasn't until I hit my rock bottom in prison years later that I say, you know what, I need help. When I was finally honest with myself, I need help. And I took those courageous steps to get it. It was difficult. It wasn't easy. But I'm very proud of myself that I did take them.
Thank you. And then I have some more comments right now when you call me back because I know the call's going to get cut off. I'll go ahead and read out those supporting comments that you got coming your way.
15-minute phone call.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call you back, bro.
All right. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
And Mad Max, I did see the message that you put on here about that I'm helping them out. You know what? I just wanted to try something different. For the last few years, I've been consuming a lot of this prison YouTube content and whatnot, and it just kind of seemed like they were providing the same message. So I've heard a few people say before that if you don't like how we're doing it, or you could do something better, why don't you get up and do it? So I'm here. I'm raising my hand, and I'm trying. I'm going all in, pretty much. I was able to make some contacts within the CDCR, and now I have numerous people reaching out to me. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this call, and we'll go ahead and continue with the interview.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tellink. You have a prepaid call from
Gary.
An inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
All right. So
Hello?
then, yes.
All right.
So I have some comments more from Pomona Queen, and she's put, yeah, Ralph and Susan are going to be eating with little Stevie on Gaspar tab 2 on Gaspar's tab 2. And then let's see what else I got here.
Yeah.
So M Star Media is congratulating you on your 5 years of sobriety.
Thank you.
Let me see what else I have here for you. And then Marilyn is so proud of my cousin Gary for taking accountability for his addiction and getting help. I know it's hard. He's right. Our culture shies away from self-help and therapy. It's frowned down upon as weakness.
Mhm. Mhm.
And let me see what else I have.
Especially with the cultural background that I come from. Boys don't cry. You want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. You know what I mean? Toughen up, man up. Who you don't talk to nobody outside the family dynamic. What's wrong with you? You don't tell teachers or your counselors your problems. What's wrong with you? It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
How do you put how do you put your trust in somebody you don't know? You know, how do you do that? You know, where do you begin with that?
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, like you say, it is hard in our culture. You know,
It's
it's
hard.
like any type of um, if you try to take any steps to try to better yourself, it's always looked down upon. You walk away, it's looked down upon. Just everything, you know, it's just like it's all bad. You try to get on
Hmm.
medication to, you know, get your health issues under control. It looks like a weak, like you're weak. So it just you just got the
Exactly.
odds are against you.
No, absolutely. Mhm. Absolutely. It's just, you know, it's just that warped belief system that's just been passed down from generation upon generation. You know, if you really look at it, you know, those cultural influences, those beliefs, those ideals, you know, they just been passed down, and they've been, you know, a lot of people adopted them. In my case, I adopted them and I redefined them to fit my needs and what was going to work for me. And that's all it is, you know. But there has to come a point. There has to come a time in our lives where we got to break that cycle. You know, we got to say, you know what, enough, man, enough. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It may be acceptable to me, but it's not acceptable to society's norms. And we have to just come to that hard conclusion and just, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna try a better way. You know, let's see if this works. Let's go down this path. See if that works.
So a while ago, you mentioned that you got to Folsom. Once you get to Folsom, how is
Yeah.
that whole experience there? Is it intimidating when you get there, or you're like pretty? You're like a fish in water already. You're already acclimated to your
Well,
surroundings.
yeah, I wasn't really acclimated to the surroundings. I wasn't wet behind the ears no more. You know, and coming out the shoe at that time, you know, oh, you know, the homie just came out the shoe, and you know, it's like okay, and they saw it differently than I did. I was just thankful that I was out. Like, man, you know, I get to go to yard with everybody. I get to play basketball. I get to play, you know, I could throw the football around. I was just happy and grateful for that, you know. But you know, as you do things, as I said earlier, you know, you gain that reputation, you gain that recognition, and people start to look at you in a different way. You know, different people who you never thought will talk to you are talking to you. You're having different conversations. You're involving yourself with different people who, you know, maybe higher up the food chain in the hierarchy of things. And you know, it was easy for me. It wasn't that hard. You know, especially where I was from, out of Pomona. You know, that probably caught the attention of everybody first than anything. Oh, homies from here. Okay, yeah, he can be trusted. You know, he's the homeboy. He can be trusted. He's with it. And so, yeah, I was already acclimated into it.
So during this time, you had mentioned that you had got your GED previously, but
GED. Yeah.
and you wish to continue education, but assuming some roadblocks or certain people, you know, got in your
You
way
know,
or got into your ear and prevented
that
that
got in
from
my way.
happening.
You know, I was excited. Man, I was excited when I got my GED. That was one of the proud moments in my life. You know, my mother was there at my graduation. My grandmother, rest in peace. My aunt, my sister. You know, the cap and gown, everything. It was exciting. You know, I wanted to,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
but unfortunately, you know, when you're involved in that lifestyle, you know, it's very difficult to, you know, they don't allow you in a sense. You know, we're not here to rehabilitate people. You know, we're here to continue business as usual. And so, you know, it was difficult. It was difficult. You know, that was probably like the one and only thing that I did when I was active in that gang lifestyle that was positive. That's probably the only thing that I ever did. You know, in my whole 18 years of being an active gang member in prison, that was probably my only one proud accomplishment was getting my GED. You know, that was it.
So you're there, and are you being asked, you know, to put in any work or
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Done that. Hold this. Do that. Go talk to this. Go talk to that person. What's up with this? Oh, absolutely. You're asked that off the bat. Everybody's asked that. to put in work.
And doing things like this, or when the first time they approach you, to go put in some
Hmm.
work, are you mentally ready, to do something like that, or hear something like that?
No, I try to tell them no. I try to come up with an excuse. Oh, I got an appeal going. Nah, I got an appeal going, which was a lie because I didn't want to do it. Like no, no, no. I got an appeal going. I don't want it to mess up my appeal. I used that excuse for a little while, but then they're not buying it no more. Like hey homie, you got to do this. You know what I mean? You got to do something. You just can't kick back and live for free, so to speak. Yeah, I wasn't ready. I was scared. I was nervous. I was shaking when I did it. I didn't want to I didn't want to hurt this individual. This person never did anything to me. He's never did nothing to me. I don't even know the guy. But it's like I said before. It's either you do it or you get preyed upon. That was just my what I came to believe in, what I came to my thought process. Everything that I saw and everything is you do this or what I mean. You're going to be on the other end of that.
And after you got there, was there any more trips to the shoe?
Thankfully, that was it. All those years that I spent in my early 20s, that was the last time that I went to the shoe. That was the last time I went to the shoe.
So in total, how much time did you spend in the shoe?
About, I'm gonna say 4 years. 4 years and about 4 months. 4 years and 4 months. That's the total amount of time that I spent in the shoe.
And once you're in Folsom, can you take us through just a regular day in Folsom from the time you wake up till nighttime?
You get up, you roll your mattress, put your shoes on, clean the house, make a coffee. You go to yard, mandatory day room, no sleeping in. And all these rules you got to follow. You know what I mean? Greet everybody, shake everybody's hand. You go to yard, and and once you hit that yard, I mean, you're on alert. You're aware of your surroundings, what's going on. You're keeping your eyes on all the different races around the yard, walking ready at a moment's notice if anything was to happen. You built up. You just you're just ready. This adrenaline's already going in you, and nothing's happened yet. It's just a thought of what might happen. What if this race crosses this line, or goes to this basketball court, or goes here, or bumps into somebody, and you just constant alertness, constant readiness. It's stressful. Prison is a stressful place. You try to get involved and you do sports. You play basketball. You play soccer. You play handball. You do this. You play cards on the yard. But you just can't help. Like my head was kept on a swivel. I was always looking around me, always turning my head, just ready at a moment's notice. That's how a regular day in prison was when you're deep involved in that gang lifestyle.
And at some point, you decide to change your life. Uh, how long ago?
Absolutely.
How long ago was this? And what under what circumstances did you decide to make these changes?
This was in 2015. Going through all these prison yards. Getting in trouble, deep in my addiction. This was in 2015. I was right here in Cincinnati State Prison, and I was deep in my addiction. My dad just passed away. My dad just passed away. That just took me further deep into my addiction. I didn't. In prison, when a loved one passes away, you can't grieve properly. It's difficult for you to grieve properly. There's nothing but strangers, nothing but acquaintances around you. There's no family members to hug you and comfort you, and to talk about the good times you shared with that loved one. It's very difficult for a person to grieve in prison. My dad passed away, and I just went further down deep into my addiction. And I remember I was on the yard, and all that, homie love, and we love you. You're the homeboy, we got your back. They're the ones keeping you in your addiction. Here, just feeding you and feeding you. And as an addict, They expect you to know your cutoff point. Okay, pay what you owe, this and that. But as an addict, it's difficult for an addict to say no. The addict doesn't know his cutoff point. The only thing he cares about is getting his next fix. So that's what it was. I was deep into my addiction. I owed a lot of money, and and I was presented with, what? Don't worry. You can work this out. This is what you're gonna do. They gave me a knife, and they were like, we want you to go hit this individual. This right here will clear you. You'll be good, and that's the end of it. But I didn't want to hurt nobody because of my addiction. I knew I was out of control. I knew I was strung out. What I needed at that time was help. That's what I needed. It felt like I was drowning. I was in a lake all by myself, and every time I came up and took a breath of air, just getting pulled back down again, and I couldn't breathe. And that's how I felt at that time. And I didn't want to go hurt nobody. I didn't want to hurt this man. I didn't know this person. I'm gonna hurt this man because I'm out of control with my addiction.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't know how to ask for help, or I don't even know where to begin to ask for help. So that's when I decided, what? Nah, this lifestyle, it's not for me no more. I'm not gonna go hurt this individual. I'm not gonna go possibly take his life if I do what they're asking me to do, and I didn't want to do that. I needed help. I knew then and there that I need help. So I made that choice. I'm just gonna walk away from this lifestyle, and God willing, I will seek the help that I need. To get clean and sober. To live my life. And that's what I did. I walked away from the gang. It was difficult. I'm not going to lie, it was difficult. How does one walk away from the only life they ever known? Since childhood, since your young teens, since your early 20s. How does one walk away? I didn't do it the same day when I thought about it. It took me a couple of weeks to think about it, to make my pros and cons list how am I going to do it? How does one even do that? What do I do? How do I do it? I had to pump myself up, build that courage to finally wake up that morning and say, what? That's it. I'm done. I don't want this lifestyle no more. I need help. I can't do this no more. And, it was difficult. It was hard.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
But I could honestly say that was the second best decision that I ever made in my life in prison, was to walk away from that lifestyle, to go and ask for the help that I needed. And that's when my life started to change. That's when that was a pivotal point for me. It just, and once I did it, when they put me in that hole and I'd say, it was like I finally can breathe again. The weight was lifted out off my shoulders. And I just started my path of change, of recovery. And it didn't happen overnight. Change, true change doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually, each day, each week, each month, each year that comes. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I had that courage, to walk away.
So the call was cut off. Like always, these calls are only limited to 15 minutes. And he should be calling us shortly. And I just want to go ahead and give you guys a big thank you. I do see you guys are getting me, or you guys are running up the comments in the chat, and that's definitely going to help this channel to get in the algorithm and YouTube, to push it out. And I just want to go ahead and say that I do appreciate what you guys are doing. I know you guys could be watching other videos or doing other things, and this is definitely going to help out, get this message out, get this channel out, and possibly, hopefully it does, impact some people and it does help them out, or they could hear some stories to know that, they're not the only ones going through things like this.
This call is now being
This
recorded.
is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Gary.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Gary, thank you for calling back.
Hello?
And hello.
Yeah, no problem.
And I
Yeah,
just
I'm
want to
here.
I just wanted to touch on a few things before we continue. If there's anybody in the audience that wishes to speak to Gary, you could go ahead and reach out to him through the GTL Getting Out app, and you could either download it in the App Store if you have an iPhone, or if you have a Google Play or you have an Android phone, you could go ahead and download it in the Google Play Store. And the name of the app is Getting Out. It's a small little green icon with like a chat bubble with a check on it, I believe. And then you could just sign up. It's free to open up the account. You could add him to your contacts. You would just have to select. He's located in the United States in California, and then you have to select the prison that he's located in. And he's currently located in Centinela, and you would have to just add his CDC or booking number, and that's located on the video. If you look down on the bottom of the feed, you'll see it scrolling through the bottom. It's right next to his name, and once you do that, it'll add your contact information on his tablet, because he does have a tablet where he could communicate with you instantly, and then it'll add it to your contacts. And once you do that, you just have to add some money to your account. I think the lowest possible money needed to add to your account in order for you to be able to send messages would be $10, and each message is 5 cents. So $10 does go a long way when messaging. It could last you maybe like up to a year, depending on how much you message. So just wanted to throw that out there if you are interested in reaching out to
Yeah.
Gary, and if you have any questions or any questions that you don't feel like asking in the chat, you feel free to go ahead and reach out to him through the Getting Out app. And then I also wanted to mention to you, Gary, that I'm sorry that you lost your father while you were incarcerated. I'm pretty sure it's something that you don't want to deal with, under the circumstances you were in. It's not a place
No.
where you're gonna get any type of sympathy. I don't think
No.
you're gonna get any hugs, and everybody's gonna have their game face on.
No.
If you shed a tear, then they're gonna be like, "What's up with this
Exactly.
dude?" So, I want to ask you, because this question that I'm gonna ask you next, I think it might help other people. And I'm not sure. Did your dad have any health issues? Were you aware that something was wrong, or they just the administration contacted you, or your family contacted you, and just let you know he had passed?
No, my father had health issues. He was in a coma for, I believe, a couple months. And I thought I know you're optimistic. You hold out hope. He's going to be all right. He's going to pull through. But unfortunately, he passed away. I was notified by my family.
Okay, and
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm sure you've been around other individuals that have lost loved ones, and do you think anytime somebody passes, do you think family members or the administration could have handled it differently than the way they did? Not in your case, because obviously you knew what the situation was with your father, but like hearing other stories of other individuals that have lost loved ones while incarcerated. Do you recall of any moment where the administration could have handled something a lot different than they did when they notified the individual, or the way the family could have reached out and let the individual know that there was issues, either like health issues, and they were about to pass? Can you think of anything like that?
I lost many close family members while I've been in prison. My Nino, my uncles, my aunt, my grandparents, my father. A lot of cousins. I lost a few cousins in prison, and I remember one time in particular, my grandmother just passed. I wasn't at SIG at that time. I get a letter from my mom, and she was questioning me like, "Why haven't you wrote? What's going on?" I mean, well, you don't. Did they tell you? Did they tell you that your grandmother passed away? And man, this was already a month after her death. that I get this letter. I didn't even know my grandmother passed away. I knew my grandmother had dementia. And my mom was taking care of her. God bless her soul. And I didn't know. And once I started to write back, and they were like, "Man, we called up there the same day, and we talked to your counselor, and we told them to let you know so we can call you to if you can call." And none of that. I wasn't even notified by CDC at that time that my grandmother passed away. Even though my family called up here and notified them to notify me, it was just nothing. Nothing happened. I don't know if it was a lapse of judgment on their part or whether it was intentional, because I was an ADSEG and maybe they had some type of ill will. I don't know, but yeah, they definitely can do better. CDCR definitely can do better when a loved one is sick, when a loved one passes away. They definitely could do better. Maybe calling you up to the program office, to the counselor's office, and having a chaplain there, or some type of a chaplain, a rabbi, some type of man of faith there, to help you. You know what I mean? Just instead of just saying, "Hey, call the house," because I've been told that as well when I lost loved ones. "Hey, call the house, call your family," and they let me use the phone, and my family would tell me. So yeah, CDCR definitely could do better when notifying an inmate about a family passing or who's in the hospital.
So I know, or what I've heard, I don't know because I've never been to prison, but
Yeah.
on the main line, you can't like seek any type of like mental health, or you can't.
Nothing.
We go back to the meds.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. No psych medication, no mental health. You can't see no mental health. You can't speak to your counselor. You can't speak to nobody. What I mean? Don't even go to committee. Abstain from going. Don't go. Whatever they do, they do. Don't go. Don't talk to no medical professional. No, everything's out the window. There's a lot of things you can't do. Whereas when I made that decision, to call it quits and to walk away from it, I was finally able to live my life the way it was supposed to be lived. I finally was giving Gary an opportunity. I was giving little Gary a chance, to grow up, to heal from all that pain, all that trauma that I experienced, that I went through. And I'm grateful for that. I'm here, and I'm living my life the way I want to live it, which is through my faith and my change and my recovery, and I'm grateful for that. I hold no anger or no ill will towards anybody. It just saddens me to think that there's guys who were in my shoes still over there trying to hold on to that false belief, and all they're doing is just hurting their family, hurting themselves, their kids, their wives, their loved ones, and it saddens me. It breaks my heart. Like, they can only if they just had that courage, that little push to just, what, man, you can be better. You can do better if you just, have the courage to walk away from that, to get the help that you need. And so you can go out there in society. So when you get out there and you're with your family again, that you can finally, do right by them, do right by yourself, and live your life. I don't wish prison upon nobody. Prison is not the place to be. It takes you away from everything you know, everything you love. I don't wish this upon nobody. But I also believe, while you're in here, take control of your life. Start being responsible for it. And start getting help that you need. And so that way when you do hit that gate, that way when you do paroled, man, life will be so much better. Life will just be, a blessing. You go out there and finally just, be you, do you. Instead of following somebody else's rule, living under somebody else's thumb.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Pushing somebody else's line. I've lost family members. I've lost family members to that senseless gang violence, and it tore me up inside. It broke my heart. Back then, whoever was involved in all that, it probably meant something to them. They probably took pride in that. But at the end of the day, man, it's like, what is it all for? Whatever you did or why you did it doesn't matter today. You know what I mean? But the cold hard fact is that that person, that human being, that family member, that loved one, he's gone. He's never coming back. He's gone. We'll never see him ever again. To talk to him, hear his laugh, to hear his voice, just to be with him. At family gatherings, at barbecues, at birthdays, at Christmas, and around the holidays, and it's all for this belief system that we put so much stock behind, and it's just meaningless. In the end of the day, when you finally step out of that box and you look at it for what it truly is, it's pointless. It's meaningless.
And like what I told, I told one of my buddies, I was like, all the work you put in and all the gangbanging you do, at the end of the day, when you come home,
For nothing.
you don't have a credit score. You can't buy anything. Nope. You can't get a credit card.
Nope.
It's not like you go to the bank and tell the banker, hey, you know what, I busted this hale and I did this and that when I was in prison.
Yeah.
Like that
exactly.
That doesn't serve you any purpose in the real world. Yeah, and in the prison world, yeah, you're living through it and you're going through these things, but in the real world, that doesn't serve you. It doesn't benefit you.
It does not one bit. No job skills, no education. A lapse in your resume. What have you been doing for the last 10 years? What have you been doing for the last 12 years, 15 years? It doesn't serve. No, but it's funny because a lot of prisoners get out with that expectation that everybody owes them something. You know what I mean? And my brother, that's a misconception. Nobody owes you nothing. People are out there working day in, day out to provide for the family, to provide for themselves. And you got to get with it. You got to get with that program. Nobody owes you nothing. But the fact is, a lot of people doing time get out with that expectation. People owe me something. People don't owe you nothing, bro. You know what I mean? People does not owe you nothing. And another thing, that I came to see and realize is a lot of us trying to pick up where we left off, and it's sad, I think about it like, with my case, I'm been in prison since I was 17. I'm 43 now. That ought to be foolish of me to get up and try to pick up as a teenager, That would be real foolish, I know that, my 20s are gone, my 30s are gone. I understand that fact, So now if I'm afforded that opportunity to get out, to parole, I got to pick up now where I'm at now. I got to do the work now so when I do go home, it rolls over into society, taking responsibility for my life, working, setting goals, achieving those goals, furthering my education, learning a trade. That's what you have to do it now. Because if you don't do it now and they say, I'll do it when I get out, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. You're only fooling yourself.
Yeah. So what one unsolicited piece of advice I could give you would be, when you come home, I would hit the floor running. I would get a job as soon as I can. Like I wouldn't put anything off. I would be,
that's the plan.
As soon as I come home, I would go get my ID, go get my Social Security card, get my birth certificate. If none of that stuff is available to you right now, go get your ID. And start putting applications in the ASAP, like all that. I'm gonna wait a week, just to relax. Nah, you've been relaxing for 20 plus years,
Exactly. Exactly. And unfortunate, I do have job offers, from family members who own their companies who are living outstanding lives. And I do got that great support within my family. My sister, my cousin, my brother-in-law. I do have it, and I'm grateful to have job opportunities waiting for me when I touch down. So that's the plan. I got to hit.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I have to hit the ground running. I got to establish that foundation under my feet. And I never had that. I've been here since I was 17. I never had a legal employment job. I never paid rent. I never had my driver's license. I never paid a bill like that. So it's, it's scary in a sense. Does it scare me? Absolutely. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to accept those challenges head on, and I'm going to deal with them the right way, and just, do it. Live life.
Yeah, no, like I said, man, my mind is blown right here. Just with all the support that you're getting from your family and friends and whatnot. Like, you're probably like the fifth or sixth person I've had on here, and man, your people are really coming through. Like it's amazing. It's amazing, and my hats off to them. For showing you support and showing you that you haven't been forgotten and they do care about you. All right, and the call was cut off, and he should go ahead and give us a call back. And just go ahead and please be patient. And like always, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them up there. I have seen that the chat is going a bit crazy. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but as soon as I do, I'll go ahead and go through the comments and go ahead and read them off to Gary.
This call is now being
This
recorded.
is Global Tel-Link. You have a prepaid call from
Gary.
an inmate at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Gary,
Hello.
hello. So
Yeah.
I
right.
wanna read off some comments here. So I have let me see here. Uh, so uh, so M Star Medina is saying that I'm so sorry for your loss, Gary. And this was going back to I believe when your father passed away.
Yeah.
And then I also have Mad Max 408 and my condolences, Gary. Losing my dad is what is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to deal with, and I still haven't fully processed my grief. So there's a lot of people that are relating to
And,
losing somebody. And go ahead,
and,
go ahead.
and, to, and, and to touch on that note, right? Like when my mother's and father's separation, when they were splitting up and all that, I had so much anger and resentment towards him, like I despised that man. And and over the years, I didn't talk to my father for many years. And then when we did start to get back in contact, we barely just touched the surface of that. I never had the opportunity to really sit down and talk to my father and really heal from all that pain, And that's one of my regrets, It's just like, you know, when I had the opportunity to reach out to my father, I did it. Oh, tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's sad because, my father didn't know how to read or write. My father was illiterate. But he took the time to have somebody else, whether it was a friend or his girlfriend at the time, to write him letters, to reach out to me, send me cards, and and you know, I was just so still feeling what I was feeling, it's just like, all right, tomorrow. That's one of my regrets, that me and my father, we didn't get to the deep, to the root, of the pain. We just touched the surface, Like I said yesterday, I adored my father, and I still adore my father. I love him. Yeah, he wasn't the perfect, he wasn't perfect, none of us are. But he did the best he knew how to do, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a brother, he did his best, I'm pretty sure that's with all parents, you do your best, do what you know, you know. Same thing with my mother. When she took on the role of both parents, mother and father, she did her best, you know. And when she separated from my father and went back to work, I was, here I am, this angry teen, out of control with no adult supervision, just running wild. My mother hated that. She hated to go to work, but she had to. She hated to leave me and my sister alone. But she had to. She was dealing what she was dealing with in her own way, and she just plunged herself into work, and she was just working all the time. So that's what I gotta say to those out there. Losing a parent is hard, it's difficult. But don't put it off, man. If you gotta talk to your father, your mother, your brother, don't put it off to tomorrow. Talk to them now. Have those tough conversations. And yes, difficult just for us to have them, but have them, man. I encourage you to have them. Please have them. I don't want to see somebody else living through life with the regrets that I have towards my father for not having those tough conversations, for putting it off to the next day. Because tomorrow's not promised to nobody. All we got is today. And today, let's live it. Live it to your best. Live it.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Gary.
You're welcome. Yeah.
And we still haven't even been through half of your story yet, because we went
No.
through your childhood. We went through your county stay, your trial, when you were in the main line, and
Mhm.
then ultimately, you went to the other side. Um,
Yeah.
what are some of the biggest difference between where you're at now and where you used to be, as far as like anything,
The
like where the
differences.
yeah, like
Well, there's
can you go to school now, or
Well, oh, absolutely. You can go to school, you can go to work, you can go to self-help programs, you can go to church. The church is now filled with people dealing drugs in there and having meetings. It's people actually going and praising God and fellowshipping and having a good time. There's a lot of differences. There's a lot of differences. It's funny because I've been down for so long. I've met a lot of people that I've done time with, on this side, and each one of us had the same reaction. Oh man, I didn't expect you to be over here. I never expected to see you again, and but it's crazy because it's like we know each other who we were then, and it's a blessing to know each other now, who we've become today. Seeking that personal growth, recovering, changing our lives around, and it's great. I've seen a lot of people parole who I've known since I was 18, 19 years old, coming up in the system. And they changed their lives around, and it's a blessing to see that. It's a blessing to see somebody who you were with and that destructiveness, all in that mud, doing a bunch of nonsense and getting into trouble, to now you're going to church with this man. You're attending self-help groups with him. You're sitting down on a table and you're having a positive conversation with him. You're sharing intimate details of your life. You're reflecting with him. You're healing. He's sharing your knowledge. You're giving your knowledge. And it's a wonderful thing, bro. It's a wonderful thing. This side, you got two choices. You can continue from what you walked away in, which is all that nonsense, or you can finally say, you know what, I'm going to try a different route. I know what this holds for me. I know what this is all about. But what's this? What's this new thing? What's this new thing called change? What's this new thing called recovery? Those are the two choices you have. And I'm fortunate that I made the right one. I said, you know what? I know what that lifestyle's all about, and I don't want no part of that. And I'm good with that. And you know, I know I gained my faith and my change and my recovery, and it wasn't easy, bro. It wasn't easy. Tough conversations had to be had. I had to lower those walls that I put up. All those walls that I put up to hide me from my emotions. From my thoughts. From my beliefs. All that. I remember, I remember, this is not a personal attack towards my family, no disrespect intended, but I remember walking into my first NA meeting back in January of 2000.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And they asked me, what's your higher power? I was like, my family. My family's my higher power. And I didn't realize it then, how could my family be my higher power when most of my families were huge negative contributing factors to my poor choices and decisions? That's one thing that I had to break down and see. I love my family. I love them. And that's a fact. That's not going to change. But there was a lot of negative influences within my family who I learned from, who taught me things, who showed me things, so how can my family be my higher power? And then going through NA and sitting down and, just soaking it up, hearing other people's experiences and seeing the similarities in it. You know what I mean? You got black, brown, white, Asian, different races, all these people from different backgrounds. Nobody's unique. We all went through the same trauma. We all went through the same struggles. We all went through the same challenges. You know what I mean? And now we're here. Now we're here sitting in a group seeking the help that we all need. That's what differs from this side. This side, you can become better. But you have to be willing to do it. You have to make, you got to, as step one says, honestly admitting that I had a problem, and that my lifestyle was unmanageable. That's the first step. You got to honestly admit to yourself that, what, the way I'm living, it ain't working. I got a problem. I need help. And then after that, comes that commitment. And you got to follow up with a willingness to attend. It's not easy. It's probably one of the difficult things I've done in my life, but I can honestly say it's well worth it in the end. 5 years, over 5 years sober, here I am, still continuing in my faith, in my change, my recovery, still going to groups, still participating, facilitating, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I gained this peace in my life and this happiness and this joy that I didn't have for a very long time. I didn't have. All I had was a storm inside of me and just waiting for that lightning strike. This is just to strike out at somebody. But now, I can walk out my cell, go through my day with peace of mind, with happiness and joy in my heart, man. Greeting everybody with a smile. How you doing, bro? It's good to see you. I hope you have a great day, brother. If you ever need to talk to somebody, I'm here. My door's always open. We can do one-on-ones, group sessions, whatever you want. Just know that I'm here, brother. If I can help you out, I will. And that's the difference between that side and this side.
And that's a huge difference. It's pretty much day and night.
It's day and night. It's huge. It's huge. And I would like to add, we're filled with all these misconceptions. Because I was filled with all these misconceptions, and I was on the other side, and I was an active gang member. Oh, they're gonna take advantage of you. They're gonna hurt you. There's no rule over there. There's no structure. They're gonna rob you for your canteen. You're gonna be fighting all the time. People are gonna try to punk you, take advantage of you. I was filled with all these misconceptions. And here I am working out in a hole, preparing myself. Like, man, I'm like, as soon as the first day I go out there, I'm gonna have to be fighting. But no, bro, night and day. As soon as I got out, and it was just respect. It was just humbleness. How you doing, bro? How you doing? All right, it's good to see you. What's your name? All right, how you doing? You need anything? Can I help you out with anything? It was total opposite, night and day.
And I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the comments right here because I do see a comment on here. Let me just find it exactly where it's at. So it's from M Star Medina, and she's asking, is Gary eligible for parole soon?
I go October 25th of this month, October 25th, and hopefully I get my suitability, and I'm blessed to finally walk out these gates, finally go home.
Let me ask you something, and maybe you haven't thought that far ahead in the future, but where do you see yourself 5 years from now, if and when you're granted your parole?
5 years from now, off parole, working, place of my own, hopefully involved in a relationship, married at that time, kids. I want to have kids. I do. I've never been married. I don't have kids. I want that. I want to be, living a life.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And hopefully within those 5 years that, I'm helping others out. maybe coming back to prison and helping people out. Coming to these groups, because there's a lot of outside sponsors and formerly incarcerated people who come back into the prison, and I've been fortunate to meet a lot of them. And man, I want to do that. I want to come back in and talk to these prisoners. Maybe go talk to the kids. Maybe go talk to the young ones. Hopefully this is, look, bro. This is what life is. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat nothing. I'm not gonna sit here and try to scare you straight. I'm just here just to share and hopefully lace you up with some knowledge so you can make the decision on your own. That's not what I want to do. So that's what I see myself in 5 years. Finally out there living among society. Living the right way, doing the right thing, achieving things that I can't achieve from behind these walls. That's what I see myself in 5 years.
Well, I'm glad you've thought of that, and I'm pretty sure you've played out these scenarios many times in your mind, how you plan to live
Oh, absolutely.
once you come home.
Absolutely.
So, my hats off to you, Gary. And
Yeah.
the interview's not over yet
You
because,
have
like I said,
60 seconds remaining.
Okay.
we still haven't gone
I
through.
appreciate you having me out today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Only thing is, I do have some plans coming up, and I don't want my wife busting down this door
No,
to see
absolutely. No,
to see
absolutely.
how
Yeah,
come
I
I haven't
get it.
changed clothes
I,
yet.
t- I, t- I totally understand. I totally understand. All right, my brother. You have a good day. God bless you and your family. Be safe, and hopefully we can speak again real soon.
Yeah, most likely it'll be tomorrow, depending on your availability. I don't think I have any plans
Okay.
tomorrow, so definitely, yeah, I'll reach out to
All
you, or
right.
you can reach out to me, and we'll definitely set something up. And I just want to go ahead and thank the
All right.
audience, for participating in the questions and driving up the chat. And with that being said, we'll be back shortly and or tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and continue with Gary's journey. And with that, thank you and have a good day.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye.